here with your Dynamic Disc Open champion from just a couple weeks ago, Paul McBeth, fresh off of a practice round. So let's cut right to the chase, man. What did you read out there? How's the course playing? What do you think?
It's hot. Definitely hot out there, but luckily we got a lot of big trees, so a lot of shade. It was a little, I feel like the wind was a little different today. It wasn't carrying the disc like it had been the previous practice days. So it could just be that I already got a couple rounds in and a little tight, but I think it's a little different out there today. So it was good to get that in, and just so many rollers. I feel like so many rollers off the tee. It's a long course, but they utilize the big trees they have here really well.
Yeah, and obviously a very long course and a tough course like Gleneagles, the course that this tournament is replacing on the Pro Tour. Hard to make too many comparisons to it. Would you agree with that, or what do you find similar and different?
It's a lot flatter here. Terrain's not as up and down, and I hear it's going to be really windy, but yesterday it said it was 14 to 15 mile per hour winds, but it did not feel like it. So really curious to see what windy is out here compared to Gleneagles. Probably nowhere close, and I mean, coming off the DDO, probably nothing close to that either. So I think it'll be fun, and they try to utilize the hillsides they have here with the baskets on them, but haven't seen too many crazy rollaways or anything like that yet. So hopefully it continues that way into the tournament.
Yeah, you mentioned the DDO. I mean, there's kind of two ways to look at it. One school of thought is, hey, Paul McBeth didn't get his first win until April, May in the year. The other way, to look at it is, once again, paired up with the best players in the world in the final round, that super card. You came out with the victory. What's your biggest takeaway coming off of that?
Putting. I think putting. I mean, I had a win. I had a couple wins before that, if you want to count Memorial or the Pro Tour champion, or not the championship, the All-Star event. Yeah, so I mean, I had a good start, but kind of couldn't bring home the win early on in the year. But I think the biggest takeaway from the DDO was the putting. I think if you want to find me on the leaderboard, just go look at the putting stats, and you'll know where I'm sitting. So if I can get my putts to go in the basket, especially the edge of the circle and outside the circle, that'll be the biggest factor. I think last week, even at Huck Central, it was Chris and I and MJ battling, and I had about probably the final 6 holes, I had 30 footers or so, and I only made 2 of them. Chris made, I think, his last 10 putts in a row, so I just had to knock one more down, and I wouldn't have been in a playoff. So kind of got me to refocus going into this week.
Last question for me. We just talked to both Paige and Katrina, who have talked about taking weekends off and kind of selecting their spots. You went out and played a very cool course for the Huck Central, as you said, but you're on that weekend, and you do have to compete at a high level against Chris Dickerson, MJ. Is that a factor that it helps you kind of get that putting stat back to where you want, or are you looking to dial anything in, or are you just having fun without the pressure of a full tour? No,
I mean, I think it's a good wake-up call. I mean, I feel like Chris and I are 2 players in the top 5. I don't think Goat Hill had that. I think they had Ricky there, and there were some other players that were maybe top 10, but it was good to have someone like Chris there, because we knew we were going to be close and battling all week. So it's good, I think, for the year, and try to see where we need to work on. So for me, again, that 30-foot range is what kind of kept me from getting that win, but also I think it helps for me, because it's not a long course. It's more like mid-ranges and putter. I think that really saw what I'm going to need to focus on when I go to De La. Here, to be honest, I have 2 mid-ranges in my bag, and that's more than I need. I mean, this course is all drivers every hole, so that's not a good indication on how I'm going to throw the disc, but it's a good indication on what I need to work on the putting green.
Paul, Chris with Gatekeeper Media. I have 2 questions. The first one, being so successful at Emporia and having so much experience there, is there any change to your play, your mindset, or your practice rounds when you come to a new course like this on the Elite Tour?
No, I feel like I'm pretty successful in California too. Coming, pretty much home. This isn't home, I mean, quite a ways, but my home state. So I feel like I usually play well in California. I'm so used to the terrain growing up out here on the West Coast, so it's different. Like I said, I have 2 mid-ranges in my bag because I know the ground play, I know all that stuff, especially being on a golf course as well. Yeah, I think I have a good track record here in California.
Awesome. Last question. What hole are you most excited to attack this weekend?
I think I've been asked this question a little bit outside of this. Is I don't see one signature hole here. I think they're all challenging. I think I need to be on my game on every hole. There's not really somewhere I can slip up, because if you do, you're in a green. You could be in the water. I don't think there's any bunkers out here, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't think there's any sand traps. So, yeah, one little mistake, you can be in the water on a green. So it's a good, solid course. But if I had to pick one, I think the one that I really need to focus on, I think, is 12 or 13, somewhere around there. It's a par 3. I don't know the number, but yeah.
Thank you.